Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for the chance given to me. My name is Wulansari. I come from Indonesia. I'm a student at Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia as the first author, and Mr. Jupri as the second author. He is my supervisor. So I will present my paper about student mathematical problem solving ability, mathematics teachers perception in Sumatra. This is going to be delivered for my presentation, introduction until conclusion. So about introduction, as we know that the very important problem solving in generally and globally, especially in Indonesia, problem solving ability is an important point in learning mathematics because students must be able to master problem solving skill based on Department of Education in Indonesia. But it informs, based on the result PISA, it is said that the problem solving and learning ability of students in solving PISA questions are low. As we know that pandemic COVID-19 in the world, so there's different learning process study in offline learning to online learning. So since the spread of COVID-19, there has been a change in the learning process. There are several studies related to studies about mathematical problem solving ability in the last 5 years, especially using a Polya stage. And then based on the information mentioned above that there is a change in student learning process. So I'm interested in investigating further the teacher's perception of online and online math problem solving abilities. The purpose of this study was to describe the mathematics teacher perception of student mathematical problem solving ability based on the teacher experience. And then the mathematics teacher perception of mathematical problem solving abilities include the teacher knowledge and understanding of the types of question given, student difficulties in solving mathematical problem solving, and mathematics topics that are often used. So furthermore, it describes the differences in students' mathematical problem solving abilities before the pandemic and during the pandemic. So the impact of this research is to aid references or can be used as consideration for teacher or the government in improving student mathematical problem solving skill through the important point discussed in this study. This research, the method is this research, qualitative research with a case study approach. And the subject in this study were mathematics teacher in Sumatra. Totally of 32 mathematics teachers were involved in this study. So the data collected in the study used a questionnaire and a data analysis was carried out by analysis of Miles and Huberman. Consult 3-point, reduction data, display data, and drawing of conclusion. Regarding result and discussion. So this is finding the research about the teacher perception of his knowledge regarding matter related to solving mathematical problems, and 6-point related to the teacher knows the differences between routine and non-routine question. The teacher often gives the type of routine question. The teacher often gives math problem with type question C4, C5, and C6, analyze, evaluate, and create based on Bloom's taxonomy. And also the teacher knows that the level of question types, Bloom taxonomy from C1 until C6, and then student difficulties in solving math problem. And the teacher often gives non-routine types of question. So this is the result. And the next about the math topic for routine and non-routine question consists of 5 math topic: algebra, number, data and uncertainty, geometry, and other. And the next about teacher perception of their knowledge related to student mathematical problem solving. The teacher perception of his knowledge related to matters relating to student mathematical problem solving is described in figure 1, which contains the teacher perception of the difference between routine and non-routine question, how often to give routine and non-routine question. And the next, the teacher knows the level of the type of question, problems taxonomy, how often the teacher gives question of types C4, C5, and C6 to students, as well as students' difficulty in solving math problems. And the next, the following is in figure 1, the percentage of teacher perception of their knowledge related to nature, related to solving mathematical problems. This is another finding. Teacher perception of student mathematical problem solving ability using Polya stage consists of 4 points: understanding the problem, planning a solution, carry out playing, and resuming. Next, about teacher perception. Differences ability, mathematical problem solving ability before pandemic and during the pandemic. So difference in math problem solving skill before the pandemic and during the pandemic is 90.63%. And then about significant differences in student mathematical problem solving abilities is so much differences before pandemic and during the pandemic. For example, like of student motivation, student thinking ability, and each other. And then about models or method used by teachers to improve student mathematical problem solving skills before the pandemic and during pandemic. And then about teacher perception of the use of media or tools to improve math problem solving skill. And then teacher perception of mathematical problem solving ability before the pandemic and during the pandemic. So this is the result in the table. In upper, the model or method used by teacher before the pandemic using problem-based learning, scientific problem-solving method, etc. And then in the next table about model or method used by teacher during pandemic, namely learning online by giving assessment, online learning by video, etc. And then the result about teacher perception of the use of media or tools to improve math problem solving skill. This is during pandemic and before pandemic. 78.91. This is the before the pandemic, and 80.47 during the pandemic. This is the teacher perception of the use of media to improve math problem solving skill. And the next, teacher perception of student difficulties in solving mathematical problem. So this is, for example, determine what step to use to solve the problem. The teacher used to hide along with that explaining and quadratic external material and each other. And then the result about teacher perception of the effort that must be made to improve mathematical problem solving skill before and during pandemic. So very much point to action or step that teacher must take to improve. For example, the teacher gives many different types of questions. The teacher often gives a non-routine question and use the guide discovery method. And then the teacher perception of the effort that must be made to improve mathematical problem solving skill before and during pandemic is the same before, but this is a teacher perception effort that must be made to improve mathematical problem solving during pandemic. You can see the table very much point up there. And then about discussion, based on the result of the research that has been presented above, the teacher perception of mathematical problem solving abilities as measured by the Polya stage rank from 63% to 77%. And Polya stage in this study include 4 stages, including understanding the problem, planning problem solving, implementing problem solving, and reasoning. So, based on another research by Zakia et al., show that the student mathematical problem solving ability ranked from 50.53% to 94.74%. In addition, Putri research 2020 showed that the percentage of student mathematical problem solving ability starting from the stage of understanding the problem, planning, implementing, and the reasoning is 56.72% to 90.44%. Furthermore, Apandi et al. Research show that the percentage of mathematical problem solving abilities based on the Polya stage is 5.36% until 76.79%. Conclusion on this research, based on research that has been done, the teacher perception of student mathematical problem solving abilities in school in Sumatra are as follows. This is related to Polya stage of understanding the problem. Students often understand the problem well from the math problem given, and then students often write down important information from the question given. And then stage of planning completion, student can plan problem solving well when given question. And then students often write formula or step in solving problem. And then about stage of problem solving, student can solve problem or equation given. So the result regarding a student can perform operation in solving problem or equation given. And stage of rechecking, student often reexamine each stage in solving problem or equation given, and then student often analyze the problem solving process that they do whether it is correct. And the last, the percentage of teacher perception of differences in mathematical problem solving abilities before the pandemic and during the pandemic was. So, meaning that there was a significant change between student mathematical problem solving abilities before the pandemic and during the pandemic. And this research has limitation in certain cases, such as perception of teacher in Sumatra. So this research cannot generalize as a whole. And recommendation for this research, based on the result of this study, more in-depth research can be conducted on similar research by adding variables such as age and gender factor. And then other researchers can conduct their same research on the perception of mathematics teacher on student mathematical problem solving abilities in other areas such as Java, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Papua, or even covering the whole of Indonesia. We gratefully express our gratitude to LPDP, Indonesia Endowment Fund for Education for funding this research, and thanks to the mathematics teacher who have been involved in this research. Thank you very much.